Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, RFK Refugees podcast. Ted here, John here to help you get through the first DC United loss of the season. I think like yes, last week was like the high, and this is like the come down moment. This was like this is maybe the game that we expected, and I guess maybe the season we kind of expected to have with DC United this year, struggling on the attack and everything. Before we get into that, John, how was your weekend, my friend? How did things go this weekend?
It was all right. It was one of them weekends, man. I'm ready for it to be not that weekend and be a different one. So it's we're gonna have a lot of better soccer this week, and we're gonna have a good show.
Yes, hopefully we have a better week. I feel like it was like, so we had the Spirit lose 1-0, I think, middle of the week, and then I went to the Kickers game against Greenville, the best team in the league, and watched. If you thought DC's loss was bad, try being up a man for 40 minutes. Or a whole second half almost, and then losing on an own goal. So that was not fun. It was rainy and wet too. It's still fun to see some live soccer. I got my live soccer in for the week, got that in. So, and then now we got a DCU after dark game next week and a Kickers game on Sunday. So it all works out weather nice. Hopefully, I'm hoping for better results. I think we got a better chance at this game, but we'll talk a little bit maybe more of that on Thursday when we will have Robert Jonas. If people old around the league, people will know who Robert Jonas is. He covers the San Jose Earthquakes, and so he's a good acquaintance of mine from my around the league days. So we're probably gonna have some flashback moments in that. But we got a game coming up. Gretchen Ham, actually, let's go to acknowledge Gretchen Ham. She comes on the show. She's a friend of the show. We got Alex. She says, you guys coming tomorrow. I think John will be there.
I will be there with bells on. I will be on Audi Field, and this time there will be fans in the stadium versus me in the press box in an empty stadium with echoes and wind tunnels. So this will be a much better experience, I think. I'm excited for this as opposed to last time.
Yep, absolutely. But let's jump right into it. Let's talk DC United. Let's talk about. I think everybody kind of it's not fun to lose. Let's get that right off the bat. Spoiler alert: it's not fun to lose. It's not fun to lose games. This was sort of like a come down moment, I feel, for fans. It was not, the team looked maybe a little bit less threatening in the attack. They're playing a very, very good New England team. Let's get that off the bat. I don't know, John, what were your, give me some overall thoughts on the game that was in that.
Seeing the lineup come out and saying, okay, we kind of expected the same lineup. We got the same lineup. We had, I believe, five field players on the bench. Andy Nahar did not make the trip because they didn't want to put him on turf, which is a fantastic decision, I think.
Yes.
That was sort of what I expected. I expected a loss, despite the facts that my bets, the number of wagers that I posted said differently. It did not work out for me on that respect, but I thought perhaps, maybe a draw. I thought the way the first half played out, again, it finished 0-0 at halftime. I thought, well, maybe we can ugly this thing out. Maybe that's what we're gonna. Maybe a scoreless draw, the first one in Erlan Losada's history, will be this one. It didn't. It almost happened, really. If you think about how the goal did happen, it could have very easily been the first 0-0 draw. There were not a plethora of chances, and New England had not, when they took the lead, did not go into a defensive shell. They were still trying to attack. It just no one could make it happen on either side. Just overall big picture thoughts. I think not hitting the panic button at all. We're down 11 players. We're on the road. We're on the turf at Foxboro. We're traveling the same day as the game. Number of excuses, and I think all of them valid. So no hit the panic button, folks. Well, I already saw some folks on Twitter kind of getting a little antsy. Just for your mental health, for my mental health, for the show, just suck on a lollipop, just calm down, think about flowers. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's definitely no time to panic. I think when I think I put a joke tweet out after the win against New York where I think it's from Arrested Development where the guy says, I made a terrible mistake. And that's the response to after this win, how does Losada feel now that he's kind of elevated expectations of this team after watching that game and showing the new line. I don't know if DC necessarily played any different than they did against New York. I think it was a rather similar game plan. They crash the middle, they seceded a lot of possession. They actually finished with more possession than New England in the game. It was like 50-47. So I think that had to do with them kind of chasing the game a little bit. I will shout out defensively. This team, I think, has shown to be a lot more solid defensively than I think we were anticipating. And that's with the injuries. Tony Alvaro, I think we all were kind of rolling our eyes like, oh my God, it's like a panic decision, has been more than solid. He has been a very, very solid piece in this team, had some great plays on the defensive side of the ball. Brendan Hines-Like obviously has the own goal this time. Unfortunate
Can't
mistake.
Stop scoring. Brendan cannot stop scoring.
Unfortunate mistake on the own goal. Brilliant was good. I think defensively, and let's be clear, this team held Gil, Busca, and oh my gosh, I'm like blanking on the other guy's name. There's like another really big attacking player that they have that I'm blanking on, but it's a good attack that New England had. This is a good team, and they shut them all out. Both teams finished with a 0.3 expected goals. Yes, I guess New England had the better of the chances, quote unquote, but they were not great. They were not like great chances that you really shut up. So defensively, this team has shown that they can keep themselves in games. And when you're down 11 players and you have an ability to do that, that can buy you some real estate, where if you're huddling in that mid pack and you kind of put it together offensively, suddenly you've got something that can start to make, that one of those famed runs towards the end of the year and sort of make a run in the playoffs. So I think what I've taken away from both games is that I think this team is maybe further along than maybe we initially thought coming into this year. With Losada sort of, lowering expectations, it seems to me that the team is buying into a system. They're all in, they're ready to go. And I think we're seeing early signs that things could be better. There's still a lot to work on. I think the attacking part of the game is where maybe there was most, we still have not had sort of, I guess, genuine chances from attacking players, or very limited amount of chances. So, I thought honestly of the players that were good, Tony Alvaro, Julian Gressel, I thought he is showing that if he can get somebody else to kind of go along with him and be on the same page, I think we have some here. I think I looked at his passing map. He's got like big old thick lines on the little like passing lines where he was connecting with other players. So he was connecting passes, doing a lot of the work there, and really generating some of the few chances DC had.
Yeah, Gressel is the player that is the offensive factor so far, the non-goal scoring offensive factor. I think, when you don't have Eric, I like Eric Sorga. I want to stop being mean to Eric Sorga.
We're going to get into that, but you go on.
I'll pump the brakes a little bit on that. But if you look at Gustavo Bo, Carlos Hill, and Adam Buxa, and then look at Eric Sorga, Yamil Assad, and Edison Flores, I feel like that the goal differential is right there on the paper. Edison Flores has not shown it in MLS yet. I would say right now, the biggest thing that he's contributing is fitness. He's 90 minutes charging fit, and that's good. Although, for our creative attacking player, for our big money player, hopefully he's able to assert himself a little bit more in the rest of the game. But right now, the team is not there as a whole. So I'll let that pass. But Yamil Assad has not been great, I don't think, these two games. He's fighting fitness. So Edison Flores has excess fitness. I think Yamil is sucking air. I don't think he's there yet. So I think there are two players sort of on the opposite sides of the coin. Eric Sorga is doing what he's asked to do. I think that, without having had a chance to ask him, I think Losada is looking at what his options are, what his bench is, what his forward depth is, and saying, I'm going to use this guy. It's almost a false nine. It's almost a decoy forward. I'm going to have this guy try to create turnovers in the offensive side of the field. And it's not going to be maybe to hold the ball up, maybe to, play in the rest of the players, but he's not making runs and being found. He's not running the channels. That's not what Eric Sorga is doing for this team at the moment. So that's another part of why this team, I think, is offensively not as exciting yet as you'd hope it to be. When maybe we don't have 11 players missing and only like 6 players missing, maybe Ola Kamara's back on the side and Eric Sorga's not starting and maybe on the bench. And then maybe when Nigel Robertha feels like he can play more than 15, 20 minutes. I think he got about 30 minutes last game. I think he came on in the 70th minute. I would like to see him, and maybe San Jose is the opportunity for that, where they're trying to play a bit more expansive. They're looking for a forward to run the channels, looking for a forward to be able to win aerial battles. Maybe that's what we see. He's a big man. Maybe San Jose gives us that opportunity.
I think I'm ready. I understand there are a lot of fans out there that like Eric Sorga. I get it. I understand it. I'm ready for something else. I'm ready for the team to try someone else out there as far as an attacker. I think at this point it's time to kind of move on. Looks like we already have a caller on the line. That was quick. We got Daniel on the line. Daniel, what's going on? Have your say to the RFK Refugees podcast.
Or don't.
You
there, Daniel?
Good. Guys,
I think we're having.
calling from Mexico.
There we go.
Oop.
Can you?
Can you hear me?
What's yeah, you're spotting in and out. Let's try it now. What do you got going on? All right, we're gonna have him call back.
Yeah,
Brian, go ahead and hang up on him.
Yeah.
Please call back if you're maybe get closer to the Wi-Fi router, and then we can have you call back. But so I think let's talk about the rest of the lineup.
Yes.
Chris Seitz playing fine. Goal wasn't his fault. I don't know if he had any saves to speak of. The offensively was such a. They did 2 shots on goal. So,
there wasn't a moment. I think in the last game you can pick out a moment for NYC. There wasn't any sort of defensive. None of these teams produced much defensively. Both Turner and Seitz were fairly bored in this game. I'm pretty sure, or we're standing around waiting for something to do. Maybe they did a couple things, but no team really generated offense to speak of. And I mean, when you have an own goal, let's say this is not a game. This is not a game that you are going to put on the highlight reels.
I'm going to make MLS. A DVD of this, Ted. I'm going to make a Blu-ray DVD and watch it every week. Yeah, I think 0-0 should have been and that should have been the score of this game. That befits the actual game.
And looks like we got Daniel back on the line. Daniel's from he's from Mexico. So Daniel's
from Mexico.
Yes. That's what.
Are you there, Daniel? Hey, Daniel.
Oh, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Bummer.
All right.
Bummer.
Strike 2.
Sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, sorry, Daniel. We'll producer, I'm sure, is working on his end to try to maybe figure out make sure it's not.
We're looking for the 10th caller for the phrase that pays to win the prize. So keep trying, folks. Maybe we'll get to you.
Yeah.
So like you said, that was a forgettable game.
Yes.
I think that there's Aaron on. I don't want to say he was defensive in the press conference, but I feel like he is definitely pressing back against the notion that we should be expecting a win right now. Although
like I said, man, he set expectations too high with that win, and now he's trying to backtrack. He's like, "Oh crap, what did I just do?"
But he said that we were in it right into the end, and I remember there was a Gressel cross in the last maybe the 89th minute or 90th minute that was dangerous and could have resulted in something. So. He's not wrong. I feel like we're San Jose is going to be a tough game, and we'll get into that on Thursday. They look a dangerous team. They're a team that can score some goals. But so is New York City FC. So we'll see. They're back on grass. They don't have to travel same day because they're flying across the country. I really wish I could be there. I love what's the name of the stadium now? It's not Avaya. It's something else. It's some other
PayPal Park.
Okay. Oh well, that's at least a real brand that people have heard of. So yeah,
yes,
that is a awesome place to go see a game. I recommend it if you're out there. If you're a Left Coast Legion, I'm sure you'll be there. But man, what a great place to see a game. I'm sure the weather will be fantastic. It always is. But yeah, so I think there's not really much else to say about that game. We hope to. I'm hoping for media availability this week to find out sort of how close some of these players are to getting back. Because we don't really know aside from the long-term injury guys. Oh, let's talk about the player who did make it back.
Yes,
Felipe made it back. Felipe was clear. Felipe was spotted on the team plane and then was cleared at 7 p.m. by press release that he was available to play. He was the worst kept secret on Twitter. I think I said this in the pregame on Instagram, but I think that this was very much a we need a bodies situation rather than Felipe is ready to play 30 minutes on Foxboro turf after not playing for 7 months. That's where we want to baptize him for sure. So I think that was I think he's close though. I think I bet you'll see him on the field in San Jose if the game state dictates it. Yeah, and that's great. I'm happy he's back.
And I do want to bring up one player I think who probably had we saw players, the substitutes that came out the bench, so Marty Smith. I think Moses Nyman was the one who made the only actual major impact, and that he played a very, very excellent long ball. I think it was either to Smith or Roberta. I'm not sure. It was one of the two. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly who, but one of the players, and that was an excellent ball that was unable to be taken down. But I think kind of shows that there is some pressure there, maybe in the center midfield. I don't know if Canals, I think, is right now a penned in starter at this point with how he's played.
Yep.
Another strong game, I thought, from him. Moreno was okay. He had his patented shot from the top of the key that goes flying over the top of the crossbar. I think
he ran out of shots on target. He used them up in the week one.
And Assad was also had a really, really bad miss where he could have, if he just got one on target, it could have been good. But we have Angus on the line to talk about the game. Angus, what's going on, man?
Oh, nothing much. How's everybody doing over there?
We're doing okay, man. We're
glad we can hear you, and we're glad you can hear us. So that's we're rolling now, Angus. What do you think about the game?
Same things that you guys were echoing. I think this is a burn the tape game. I think they go over it today in practice, say, hey, this is what we did wrong. This is how we get better, and then never look at this game ever again. Personally, I think that the Heinz Ike goal, he in and of himself was in a bad situation. He was in a bad position. There wasn't much he could do with that ball anyways from where it hit him. He was trying to do the best he could with it and ended up in the back of the net. I don't put too much blame on him for that. I don't put too much blame on anyone for that. And it's just unfortunate how it happened. Again, more reason to just burn the tape and walk away. I think I don't want to blame it on the turf. I don't care. I'd more blame it on the length of the field. I mean, come on now. It's 3 yards longer, so that's too long. We have to shorten all the fields in MLS now. But honestly, this game is a purely forgettable one that I'm sure 4 weeks down the line we'll be laughing at if we even remember it at all.
Yeah, I think that the things that were good from that game. Marty Smith made his debut. Moses Nyman got some minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. there you go.
I will say
Gressel continued to look good.
Gressel continues to be. I would say he's not firing on all cylinders yet, but he's dramatically improved from 2020 Julian Gressel.
I almost want to see, after kind of watching this game, I almost want to see Gressel maybe a little bit higher up the field. I'm almost wondering when Areola comes back, when there's more depth kind of at that line, maybe Paredes is back. Maybe we see a shift. Maybe we see Assad go to the bench, or even Flores go to the bench, and we see Gressel kind of step in maybe a little bit higher on the field. He has shown, I think, the most offensive ability thus far, or the ability to go forward of any of the attacking players. And I think what we saw from this game, we saw opportunities, potential opportunities. The problem was it felt like the team did a good job when they were quick on that transition. It was they were moving quickly to get the ball up the field. They would win the ball in the center of the park, make a couple quick passes, get it upfield, and then they'd get sort of outside that 18, and they would just kind of stop, and they would try to think about it. And I don't think that's what Losada wants. I think he wants go, go, go. Let's go quickly, because it then gave time for New England to push back and defend. And that led to, that last pass being not quite on the mark. And then the Revolution cleared up. So I don't know if it's a burn the tape game, but I think it's a let's look at some things we did well and let's move on, but let's not burn the tape. I think there were still some things that they did well offensively, just not, it's still not the complete picture.
I think I think right now, and I mentioned this during the game when I was watching, I was like, oh, we have a confidence issue when it comes to just shooting the ball. I think, while Moreno likes to take that 20-yard blast from wherever on the field that goes sailing over the ball, you don't really have anybody else who's going to say, oh, I want to shoot this ball right now. And I think that's allowing teams like New England to get that jump on us and disrupt that final pass because they know that the pass is coming. There's nobody right now who's willing to just take on the shot and test Matt Turner any because, well, he only recorded one save all night.
He wrote a novel back there. He was
corner.
doing his taxes. It was an easy night for him. I think you're right. You wonder too, like some coaches are think that maybe that's a wasteful opportunity and making those long shots. We don't know if Hernan is like anti long shots, more about, but it doesn't seem like he would be based on everything else. It would seem like it would be sort of a high reward, low risk, high reward situation. But I think that there's large areas of opportunity in the offensive side, and I think that until we have a designated forward that we think is about to try to score them goals, I'm not going to hold. And once Yamil Assad is actually game fit all the way, then I'll start worried about sort of cashing in on those opportunities. Right now, it's sort of Eric Sorga.
And let's be clear, New England had zero shots inside the 18 that went towards goal. They all their shots were reduced outside the 18. They had one block shot from Bo. I think that was Alvaro made a really nice run to sort of block that. So
defensively, we're doing all right with a makeshift back line.
Yeah, he's been a huge surprise. That's a great pickup so far, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we talking about? Alfaro,
yeah.
Yeah, he's earning his league minimum.
Yeah, I'm very glad that no one listened to our New York City FC preview match where we talked about Tony Alfaro in a very dismissive way. This is once again week two of my mea culpa. Tony Alfaro, you're doing great. Keep it up, man. And also keep the hair because it helps me identify you on the field, and I like that. I think any large physically identifying factor. I'm getting old. My eyes are getting bad. I guess I like it.
To be fair, if we had maybe seen him play. If the preseason games had been streamed, perhaps maybe we would have had a different opinion of him, despite the fact he gave it the penalty. I think that's all we were going off was that he gave it the penalty. What's that?
We did get to see him play. He just didn't have the blue. He didn't have the purple hair, so we couldn't identify him.
Fair enough.
Remember, Angus was the 6. Yeah. Remember, Angus was the hacker man that was helping these games be visible by the people. So he did see him.
I guess the only game I actually remember he was identified was because he gave up the penalty because they said Trilus gives a penalty and Golf said that was Alvaro. And I'm like, oh, great. And then we signed him. I'm like, oh, man, this is like.
That was the Red Bull game. It was only on the radio.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
That was
all right, Angus, anything else you want to add? We're going to go ahead and reopen the phone lines. Any last thoughts?
Just I guess I remember that tweet, the lower your expectations for our follows so he can be a pleasant surprise, and I think that's exactly what's happening.
Yep. We're all defender of the year. Lowered expectations.
Thanks, Angus. All right. Jason on Instagram is Flores a locked in starter every week when Areola is back? I think honestly, I don't think there's any attacking player right now. When guys are getting healthy, when guys are starting to come back, Ola Kamara is back on the table as far as being a starting striker. I don't think Sorga's done anything that has made me say anything really that has said that he is a locked in starter. I don't think Assad has really done anything. I think Flores's defensive work rate has been good, and I think it has helped us kill off games. His pressure is good. I still hold on to the idea that it's going to come for him. I'm more excited. He's looked better than he looked all of 2020. So I'm a little bit, I know some fans maybe are disappointed in him. I know there were some other podcasts that were ragging on him. I don't have the same entire negative opinions. I see some flashes. I think he needs somebody to connect with offensively. because right now I don't think there's a whole lot for him to work with. So I want to see him have more options. Maybe have an Areola that he can work with. Maybe he and Ola Kamara, establish a connection. We never really got to see them work much together. And with this new lineup, I think with this new system, any player we maybe had a negative opinion of, we need to see again, because I think they're going to be different in this system than they were under Ben Olsen.
I see Areola as a second striker situation instead of a right wing back or a winger. I think that not necessarily is where he has played, certainly not for the national team. But I feel like that is an area of need, particularly if Flores continues sort of like more of his contributions being more defensive than offensive, the thing he was signed for. Like you, I'm more optimistic about Flores long term because his track record dictates that's what he should be doing. But I think Ariel is more dangerous closer to the goal, and if the team is still having problems converting opportunities, I think that's where you put him on there. And I think that Flores potentially does get moved to the bench because of that. But I think we'll see. That's a great problem to have for us, is to have all these players back. I'm not sure. I think I would like, if there is media availability this week, I will see what we can do about getting sort of expectations and timelines for some of these players back, so we can start to, Jordi Reyna is now 4 weeks, I guess, because he was 6 weeks out when the season started out. So another month for Jordi Reyna before he can come back. I think he would be a player that could really help this team right now. Lots of players could. Lots of places that need help. Let's do our Loud United 20-second review of Loud United. Loud United now has a general manager for the first time. Stuart Mayers, who you may have recognized from the gantry booth for the last game against New England, doing commentary with Dave Johnson, is now the general manager. He continues to be the technical director for DC United, so he is pulling double duty. Loud United played Philadelphia Union 2 this last week and 25th yesterday, and lost 4-2. That really got out of hand at the end. They were drawn until the 70th minute, and I guess the wheels fell off in a dramatic fashion at that point. And then their season, I believe, I'm going to verify. Starts on May 2nd, so this weekend. So great. We've got
against Miami FC.
we've got all the games to cover. We've got Saturday night, late DC United. We've got Sunday 7:00. Ted's got Richmond. 7:30. I've got Loud United, and we've got Spirit tomorrow night. So it's a full week of games for all the teams that we ostensibly cover, and then the one that Ted would also like us to cover.
I don't like us to cover. If you want Kickers coverage, go River City 93 podcast. I have kept out of that realm, other than the brief mentions about the team.
Ted has signed a mutual non-aggression pact with this podcast to not encroach on their turf.
Yes,
they will send a dog to his house.
It is also the fact that they cover the team more closely, and I watch the games. I know certain players, but I there's only so much I can invest my time in, and I have chosen DC and Spirit, and
that's right. That's right.
So I have chosen my boyhood club as the team I will follow closely. There's only so much energy you can keep into. Angus, by the way, says I'd like to see more than 20 minutes out of Robertha. I would too, and I'm actually. I will mention I am a little surprised you're saying he should be one of those players I would expect to be fit, because he's in the middle of his season. Technically, he's playing in Bulgaria, which is not the Premiership or anything, but you would expect a player to be fit. So I've been a little bit. I guess I will be. It seemed to me Sawyer kind of came off the bench, and he looked kind of upset. He did not look happy to be taken off. I am wondering if he feels that that was kind of his last moment, maybe to etch a place in the permanent lineup. He didn't do it, and now he's thinking, guys are getting healthy, guys are coming back. Maybe this is my last game. The team spent $1 million on Robertha. Maybe they want to get a good run out of him for 90 minutes. So be curious to see.
Let's preview. I think we've beaten this game. We flogged this game well to death. Let's talk about the Spirit. The Spirit are playing in their final Challenge Cup game tomorrow against Gotham FC. It's going to take me a little bit of time. Do not call them Sky Blue. Gotham FC, way cooler name. Sounds sort of. I think goth is the first thing I think. I'm like, whoa, very cool. Very. This is the punk goth team. DC United, or not DC United. Washington Spirit is, I believe, eliminated from the final. The final is just the top two the top on in each conference, and they will not be that because North Carolina beat Racing Louisville 3-2 in the last second right before we recorded. So that's that.
Well,
Gotham looked what?
I don't know what the tiebreakers are. I guess I don't know what I guess if it's goal differential, I guess technically we are still alive because basically if we beat Gotham FC, we tie everybody on 6. I think we have to win by like 3 goals or something like that. Or
don't we have a game in hand on North Carolina?
I believe North Carolina is now even on games from
3.
what I'm seeing here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if my standings are updated at this point. It may not be.
I will tell you what. I remember in preseason, so last month when we were looking at the longest preseason in human history for the Spirit, and we're like, how seriously should we take the Challenge Cup? I do not care at all if they get to the final with this. I want it to get to the regular season. Yeah. I want them to have cadence. I want them to have a weekly game, like you were saying before the show, on a weekend and not on random Tuesday. And I want to have an opportunity for the games, how Richie's going to manage these games when they matter for real. And when when he's got a full complement of his players and no international duty, does he continue to try to push the 3-man back line? Does he go to the 4? That's worked pretty well, particularly in the Racing Louisville game. Hard to say. In this game, Gotham really played really well the last game that they played. They beat North Carolina.
They were the one team I think that's beaten North Carolina that has managed to slay the dragon, so to speak.
They scored
other teams have
4 goals. They scored 4 goals against North Carolina.
Yeah.
And Carly Lloyd looks ready to play. Which she has not been for a little bit of time for at least the NWSL side. Midge Purse scored, I believe, on that also in that game. This is going to be a tough game. The Spirit defensively have looked shaky. I think that they continue to Sayori Takarada is not very steady right now. She's got a Donovan Pines level of calmness on the ball at her feet lately. And she, in the first game back from Racing Louisville, she had been with on national duty 2 days prior, and it showed. And Richie complimented her for just gutting it out and being able to play 90 minutes, and she was dead on her feet at the end of it. But hopefully, Paige Nielsen hopefully gets back. Sam Staub has not been playing because she's been injured. So once again, this last game, they got some of their internationals back, but they haven't had their starting backline sort of configured. So this will be a challenge. I look forward to seeing many more goals than the last second goal that Trinity assisted Ashley Sanchez scoring last time I saw him in person. So watch the game. It should be interesting.
Yeah, and I think I think this is a matter of winning the tournament maybe was a little bit of a far-fetched with the amount of players missing and kind of everything. I think maybe we had dreams of it, maybe us being a dark horse pick to do that. And I think after that Carolina game, I think that was pretty much, it was over. I don't think we were going to win this tournament. But what I will say is I feel like we have learned some things. First of all, Rodman is the truth. She is going to play a huge role in this team and upcoming. How quickly she adjusted to the professional game was nothing short of incredible. She immediately came in, made an impact. I mean, this is sort of a glorified preseason, but the level is high. I mean, this is still a very high level of games. These are games that matter. This is something I kind of think MLS should adopt, is like, why not do like a TV covered preseason, even if it's just on ESPN Plus. Do something like that. Make the games matter, and I think you'll get some good things. You'll get some good things out of it. But I think we've learned a lot about that. Ashley Sanchez, I think, has not had the impact I think she would have liked. I think we want to see more from her. I've been a little surprised. I guess Yokoyama kind of came onto the scene. She looked very good in the first game, and then she kind of started coming off the bench, I believe, the last couple of games, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd like to see some more from her. And I think it's defensively. I want to see Andy Sullivan. Obviously, we won't get to see Kelly O'Hara again. She has been, she got red carded. She is off for this game. So we will see her for the regular season. I'm ready for the season to start. I think I'm ready for a full season of games. Do we even have a schedule yet? Do we?
No, I believe that's soon. I think that we might see that pretty soon. But just to bring Kelly O'Hara again, she had a goal that was called off.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like that was pretty bad. The referees among us would I think agree with that. Is that correct?
So this is you know the Futurama the scene with with Hermes and the like he's like a government person or something like that, and like the guy's like, well, you are technically correct, the best kind of correct. This is the exact opposite. The referee is technically correct. She goes to the ball, she signals, and she says she pointed the whistle. I don't see her do that. And normally you will see the referee walk away, point to the whistle, say, wait for my whistle. They do the kickoff, the play happens, and then she decides to call it back. That's bad. And I would say if I was assessing her, that would have been a really bad mark on her. So she is technically correct that yes, she went to the ball. If you're going to take a free kick, you do it immediately. You don't set up for a ceremonial free kick and then take it before the whistle. So I think maybe as the Spirit, maybe you wait for the whistle. It's a technically correct call, but it's the worst kind of thing because it takes away a goal. So not a bright moment either way, even though she does get the call right, but it's just a stupid thing that she does, not actually signaling it and blowing the whistle. I don't think I ever heard a whistle. It's hard to hear, I guess, on the stream, but I never heard a whistle go off. So,
and last bit of Spirit news, Spirit re-signed Aubrey Bledsoe, Emily Sana, and Andy Sullivan to new deals. Yep. The interesting thing there, I think this has been reported a while ago by Steve Goff. The interesting thing here is that Sana and Sullivan are no longer going to be allocated contracts after the season. Does that mean that they are now going to be allocated to additional U.S. national team players? I don't know the answer to that. Or can they be? I think maybe they can. I don't know the answer to that. We are still, the NWSL rules are somewhat foreign to us. The MLS rules are less foreign to us. They continue to change. I think we understand them a little bit better, but NWSL is a new frontier for us. But these players being under contract are good, particularly through the next 2 years following this one. So you've got a core, your spine in the middle of the field right there is set up for a little time.
I do wonder too if this is I feel like there was a lot of talk about how so for those who don't know the history of the NWSL was basically started by US Soccer. US Soccer said, we are going to start this league because it had failed so many times when they've tried to do it, privately. And they said, we're going to start up this league. We're going to bankroll it. Basically, we're going to take all of our US players. They're going to be paid on our contracts. We're going to allocate them to NWSL teams to kind of help boost it. And, then we're going to, build ownership there. I think what's happened is you're seeing the sponsorship come in. I am wondering if there are going to be maybe some changes to how this whole thing operates with the allocated U.S. soccer players. You're having a lot more players go abroad. I am wondering if U.S. soccer is like, look, you need to telling NWSL teams, you need to start stepping up and paying these players because otherwise we really can't hold them here much longer. Like, we've got CBA negotiations. We don't want to get into, we don't want to have that to be like our continuing negotiating tactic. We want to dissolve ourselves of that so we can negotiate elsewhere. I wonder if that's sort of a signal that, that maybe the things are changing on that front.
Well, that's the case. I like our chances. I think ownership is committed to putting a good product on the field.
Yeah.
And if those sort of, limits are taken off as far as like, who's paying for these players, does that make the players who are maybe allocated to less affluent teams more likely to move to teams that can afford them? Maybe. So either way, it's positive news for the Spirit, I think. Yeah,
I think you maybe start seeing, I think a lot of that sort of that allocated stuff is a lot of training wheels. I think it boosted the Spirit in some cases, getting players like Mallory Pugh, like Rose Lavelle. I think now the league is like, look, sponsorships coming in. We're getting, more and more and more. We're hearing more and more sponsors are signing up. We're hearing ticket sales go well. We're hearing all the new deal on CBS, for instance. I think all of that has kind of the success of the Challenge Cup has kind of made U.S. soccer say, you know what, we can start taking off those training wheels. It's time for this league to kind of grow on its own. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing right here. I can't say for sure, and maybe someone will come yell at me and say, nope, I'm wrong. But that's kind of what it feels like and it has been talked about. U.S. soccer wants to divest themselves. They want to kind of step back from this league and let sort of it take on more of a role, kind of running it by itself. So hopefully we see that.
So tune in tomorrow night I think
Yep.
it's 7:00. Is it 7:00? I should know. I have to be there. So I think it's 7:00.
It is 7:00.
Also,
yes.
tickets are also available. So if
Yes.
if you feel like going, if you're vaccinated or if you're not and just feel like you want to go, I believe there are some tickets available. So come see me and say hello. I will be not wearing a soccer jersey because that's not allowed in press box. I have to be. Maybe I'll be wearing a suit. Maybe I'll be wearing a tuxedo with a top hat and a monocle. Who knows?
Yeah, to
But
be.
I'm saying-
I think that would still be flagged for distractions in the press box. But
All right,
yes,
well, I
you
won't do
got
that.
to be an upstanding citizen in the press box, for sure. So, I'm excited. I'm excited for the last game. Hopefully, we see maybe a bit more of a complete picture. We got more lineups. Players have now been in training for a week, so maybe there's been some things built. So, should be a fun way to at least end the year and get excited for the actual season that is going to happen this year. So, yeah. All right. Anything else we want to touch on? Any other news that's coming out? It's kind of a quiet show this week, I think, unless we get some more calls this week.
I think that this is going to be a relatively short one. We'll have the preview show on Thursday. That I think it'll be really helpful to get sort of the real full scouting report on San Jose and talk about, and we'll also know more about the health of DC United and who we're expected to send out to California over the weekend. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed so that you see the Thursday show since that's on a live one. And we will probably do another pregame on Instagram on Saturday night. So make sure you're following us on Instagram, which is, at RFK Refugees, like you would imagine it would be.
And we're going to let democracy, we're going to let momentum decide whether we do a post game for that show, I think, because it's going to be 1 a.m. Eastern time when that game ends. If you want post game and you are up at that night and you are not, what's the word? You are not asleep because you are a normal person and you want us to do a post game, we will do a post game. So this
is my normal advertisement for our scarf. I still have help me get rid of this giant box in my basement. Ted's got one. I've got a lot more than one. Brian's got one. Make sure if you're like, oh man, I don't have enough scarves. I know that's my problem. I know that in my closet I don't have 30,000 scarves, but if you want one more, is it at DCU Soccer that has it lines their bed, like they've got like a whole like it's so. Like a what's that called? It's like a canopy bed that he's used scarves to make. So Asthmatic 10, my buddy Matt says on Twitch that he has it. It arrived today, and it's high quality. So I agree they're high quality. I think that we're definitely gonna, if we make scarves again in a subsequent season, we're gonna go with them again. Out of what's their name again? Die Hard Scarves. Yeah. So Die Hard Scarves. It's good stuff. But if you want one, rfkrefugees.com, buy it.
Yep. And remember my little thing. Let's see. When's the next home game? We got the next home game. Oh man, not until Chicago, May 13th, not till Chicago. So you got till May 13th if you to buy it sooner, wear it to the game, show yourself on camera, take a screenshot of it when you get back home. I know that might require you to have NBC Sports Washington. So you got to do it.
that is also contingent on your getting this free beer. It's
yes,
a lot of variables.
Yes, but basically, if I see someone holding up a scarf, I will make my effort to screen cap it, and I will show it to you. By the way, we forgot to mention, hats off to the team. It seemed like they have resolved the issue from the beginning of the week with the stream. It seems like now, if you are in the NBC Sports Washington greater area, you're able to watch the game, and hats off to them for getting that done, because there are no nationally televised games, and it's good to at least have an option. I know some fans, I think, have now expressed frustration they can't DVR the game. And my response to that,
I am one of those people.
And my response to that is buy cable. And that's all.
I have cable. I guess I could do that. Never mind. That's not what it is. Richard Rolson also got a scarf. I feel like most of the people who got scarves watch the watch the stream. So thanks, guys. I guess I shouldn't advertise on the stream. I guess I should just advertise on the recorded podcast. Anyway, guys,
yes,
thank you for doing that. If you don't have one yet, you'd like one, check it out.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this week. We're going to end the show a little early. We actually ended the show early. We actually normally, like we say, we're going to end it early, and then we end up going for like an hour. We got about 45 minutes in the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully, we have some more excitement, more things to talk about. I think actually the San Jose game is going to be a little bit more exciting. I think there's a chance here with how both these teams want to play, and San Jose being a more attacking team. And Wando got red carded, so we don't have to deal with him. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. We will catch you guys on Thursday. Vamos.
Vamos.